Respected Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to convey my deepest appreciation for convening the 65th session of the Commission on Status of Women. I am confident that CSW 65 will be instrumental in promoting women's rights across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the past year has brought forward unprecedented challenge in the form of COVID-19 pandemic. We all know that while a virus does not distinguish between genders, its effects can be gender asymmetric. Being aware and sensitized to this possibility, we in India have been proactively working towards holistically preventing, mitigating and containing the adverse consequences of COVID, while distinctly addressing the gender dimensions of the issue. Heralding these changes under the leadership of our visionary Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi, we have moved from a paradigm of women's development to women-led development. And here, let me assure you that this is not a slogan. This is the fundamental frame on which we in India are weaving our development story. Women's agency and leadership is playing a key role in all our endeavors as we stand to realize the aspiration of a fully self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is not just self-reliant for its own sake, but which also seeks to benefit the global community in a post-COVID world. We in India are implementing a series of flagship programs that focus on significantly expanding women's financial inclusion, employment and self-employment opportunities, healthcare, nutrition, safety, security and education. Speaking of legislative interventions, reservation of seats for women in local governance has ensured that more than 1.37 million elected Indian women representatives provide leadership in formulating and implementing gender-sensitive public policies at the community level. Women's empowerment means emancipation of women from the vicious grip of social, economic, political, cultural and gender-based discrimination. It means granting women freedom to make life choices. Therefore, the Government of India has launched many schemes to financially empower Indian women. While insurance schemes such as the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana are much celebrated, it is a cause of great joy for us that through the financial inclusion scheme of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, that for the first time in the history of our country, over 220 million Indian women were formally brought into the banking system. Innovative use of digital technologies has provided equal opportunity for women to access insurance, loans and social assistance. Direct benefit transfer has also been ensured, so much so that during the COVID-19 pandemic, it is this very banking scheme that helped the Government of India transfer over 309 billion rupees to the bank accounts directly of 220 million Indian women. The government has also prioritized gender targets within the Indian Skill Program and in initiatives for promoting women's entrepreneurship and encouraging access for women to credit without collateral under schemes such as Mudra Yojana and Stand Up India. Under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, collateral-free loans have been provided to over 26 crore Indian citizens, and a majority of these benefits, that is, over 68% of these loans, have been given to women-owned and operated enterprises. Similarly, Stand Up India scheme aims to promote entrepreneurship amongst those who are underserved, including female entrepreneurs. More than 97,000 loans have been sanctioned under this scheme since its inception. And again, majority of the beneficiaries, that is, over 81% of these loans have also been sanctioned to women. To address the declining child sex ratio and related issues of empowerment of women over a life cycle continuum, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, a multi-sectoral package of interventions and awareness campaigns that challenge gender stereotypes and realize girls' right to education was launched. The initiative has played a pivotal role in bringing about perceptible changes in the mindset of citizens. The success of this initiative is evidenced by the fact that since the launch of this scheme, an improving trend in sex ratio at birth by 16 points has been seen at an all India level from 918 to 934. Poshan Abhiyan, the National Nutrition Mission in India, serves the nutritional needs of over 80 million women and children and aims to improve nutritional indicators by leveraging technology, encouraging mass public participation and establishing convergence with other government departments and schemes with similar and supporting objectives. Over 80 billion Indian rupees under this scheme has been directly credited to the account of over 20 million Indian women. More than 80 billion rupees under the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana has been credited directly to the bank accounts of over 20 million Indian women in order to encourage them for institutional deliveries of their children. Maternal mortality ratio of India has reduced from 130 per 100,000 live births in 2014-16 to 113 per 100,000 live births in 2016-18. While the Government of India has dedicated its efforts to provide clean cooking fuel to over 80 million Indian women in the past 6 years, it is the construction of 100 million household toilets that have contributed immensely to women's health and welfare in India. I will conclude my remarks by reiterating India's commitment for strengthening cooperation and advancing the goals of gender equality and empowerment of all women to ensure that men and women are accorded equal treatment and enjoy the same opportunities everywhere. India remains steadfast in its commitment to build a more just and equal post-COVID world for our daughters and women across the world. Jai Hind.